Hey, welcome to the Wednesday Wind Down. I'm Natasha McCrea. I am your love CEO, love activist. This is an amazing Wednesday wind down. I have this beautiful rosé. It's very complex. It goes really good in fall and winter. I usually thought of rosés just happening in June, but here you go. Here's to you. And if you are just tuning in, I had to sage. I'm saging y'all, saging it all up, changing the mood and the atmosphere. If you're just tuning in, tell me where you're tuning in from. Give me a shout out. Give me a hey boo hey. Share this with your friends. I really want to talk about how you can make life feel good in the midst of it all. How do you do that? How do you do that when things are just, especially nowadays, shit has hit the fan for the last 18 months, almost going on 2 years at this point. So, where are we? What are we doing in this world? How are we going to make life feel good? And I want to talk about that simply because if, for those of you who do not know, the Love CEO Sanctuary is a private group on Facebook. And in the Love CEO Sanctuary, we talk a lot about self care and self love. But I am opening up the doors to the Academy. And the Academy, we are next week starting the Feel Good Method. Now, I ran the Feel Good Method for free at the very beginning of the pandemic. I had several people who went through that, whose lives were changed. And so we are doing it again. If you want more information about that, make sure that you go down in my DM, just ask some questions, join us in the Love CEO Sanctuary. If you're like, what's going on? I don't know what she's talking about. Hit me up. Hit me up, because the Feel Good Method, what we do is we walk you through systematic processes that get you into a place of seeking out and always seeing the good. And when you seek out and always see the good, it doesn't mean that bad things aren't happening. It doesn't mean that challenging things aren't happening. It doesn't mean that lessons aren't happening. It just means that you are feeling good more often in life in the midst of everything. Tiffany, what's up? Hey, I get to see you live and in living color. Hey, Joanne, welcome, welcome, welcome. So today I want to talk about, how do you make life feel good? How does it feel good to you? How, in the midst of the craziness, in the midst of a storm, in the midst of going through so much, how do you make life feel good? There's something that I teach called the Love Intelligence Method. Love Intelligence Method is something that I've been developing for the last 5 years. And it became out of me being a love addict. For those of you who do not know, yes, my name is Natasha, and I'm a love addict. I'm a love addict. And it's crazy because with being a love addict, I just sought out everything that had to do with love. But before I really understood the authentic, true foundational principles of love, I sought out the false, unauthentic type of love, the love that I saw on television, the love that, I read about in books, not necessarily the love that we actually feel, not necessarily the love that is a solid foundation for myself, like my self love being that solid foundation. So I have read so many white papers and books and coaching and all of that. And so over the last year, I've been developing, which has been actually over my entire life, but now I'm packaging the Love Intelligence Method. And with the Love Intelligence Method, there is self-awareness, self-compassion, empathy, expression, receiving. Receiving is a part of love. Being able to receive love is a part of your love intelligence. And so when we think about the feel good method, oftentimes we have to rewind and step into, are we allowing life to feel good? Are you allowing life to feel good? Because that's, I would say, the very first step is to say, you know what? I'm going to allow the goodness into my life. We have to be open to allowing goodness into our lives, because we can read as many books, go to as many self-help, go to as much personal development or empowering conferences. But if we are not in the space of allowing life to feel good, then we are kind of shooting ourselves in the foot. We're shooting ourselves in the foot, because we will naturally go towards the things that don't feel good. And I don't know if you can relate to this, where if there was something you wanted to do, I did this a lot back in the day. If there was something I wanted to accomplish or something I wanted to do or a goal that I wanted to get, I felt like I had to go through pain in order to reap those benefits. Does anyone else relate to that? Like you feel like if you aren't working hard or if you aren't grinding, you have to go through pain to reap those benefits. So, if you want life to feel good, the very first step is going to be in allowing, saying, look, I'm going to allow life to feel good. In the midst of a breakup, you can still maybe go see your favorite masseuse, or you can still eat your favorite meal. And that meal, allowing that meal to feel good in the midst of the chaos that you may be going through. Yeah. Someone says, "Me definitely can relate to, yes, the hustle to get promoted." Yeah. Yeah, we feel like it has to be this hardcore thing. But I want us to just make that very first step, and I say us because it's a journey for me as well. I want us to make that step to say, "You know what? I'm going to be in allowance of life feeling good. I'm going to allow this." Because you ever, I mean, I can even give the example sometimes if I'm mad at Mr. McCrea, and then you're like mad at someone, and then they do something nice, and you be like, like holding it in because you just can't feel good or you just can't smile. I mean, that happened today in therapy. If I'm completely honest, we were in therapy. We were talking about something intense. Mr. McCrea and I do therapy every other Wednesday, just so y'all know it's important that you all have a therapist. I got two of them. I got my marriage therapist and I got my personal therapist. So we were in therapy and we were talking about something that was a little bit intense, and I felt myself kind of getting irritated. And I don't live in irritation. I don't live there because it doesn't feel good. I just have reconditioned myself to not live there. Someone can do something and they just did something. I might get annoyed, I might get mad, but I'm not going to live there and let them take over all of my space. So, needless to say, we're in therapy and where it's kind of intense. And, he's talking and explaining something. And I was kind of like mad, like, that's because he ain't da 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 da, just mad. But then he said something that was funny. And I caught myself trying to hold in my laugh because I operate through love intelligence. That lasted for maybe 10 seconds, but I identified it. I literally tried to hold in my laugh. Why? That's not allowing life to feel good. If you are holding in your laugh, not wanting to enjoy a moment, you can enjoy those moments. I've had those moments where you in the middle of an argument and then someone says something funny and you be like, "You stupid," and just laugh. That doesn't mean you are discounting that maybe there need to be some changes. I don't know if you were like me, but I had a tendency to have to feel pain in order to prove that someone else needed to change. That's a hard one, y'all. Have you ever put yourself in the position where you had to prove by your attitude, you're trying to prove to someone that they need to change by your attitude? You know what that is called? That's called codependency. That's codependency. So, how do we make life feel good in the midst of these storms? We allow, yeah, ouch. Ouch, honey, because I be checking myself on the ouch so often. We have to allow life to feel good when those little moments want to seep into our consciousness, when they want to seep into our world, like they're literally seeping in if we allow them. And when we get into the mindset of allowance, then we will begin to see a bunch of those other little moments. It doesn't mean that bullshit ain't happening. It doesn't mean that you're like it completely. I'm like saying like five sentences at once. It doesn't mean that you're not going through some stuff, but you can grieve and still laugh. You can be in an argument and still see the joy in a moment of someone, you know, they reaching, cracking a joke. It doesn't mean that there don't need to be changes. I want you to grasp that. Just because You don't live in the pain doesn't mean you're not going to make changes in your life. And I don't want you thinking that in order to identify that you want something different, you have to hate the life that you're in this moment. Oh my God, I really want to be in a house and I'm living in a studio right now. I hate this studio. You don't have to hate the studio to be striving for the mansion. You will actually boost your abundance magnet by loving on that studio while you envision the mansion. Loving on that moment of laughter in therapy while I'm envisioning a fully free, passionate, exciting relationship, right? Or are we going to close ourselves off to the good because we feel that we're going to be the martyrs? Most of us. I'm just saying, we be the martyr, be like, oh my God, I've done so much work. Can you believe I've sacrificed this? I've sacrificed this for you. I've done this for you. I've done that. And we're talking about all the things we've done, playing the martyr when we don't have to play the martyr. Okay. So allow is that first step. Allow the good in. Be willing to see it. Be willing to seek it out. Be willing to respond to it. Be willing to not judge it. Be willing to not judge it. I've seen things, I've been like in a mood walking through the store, Target in a mood because I don't really want to be in there and people too close and then there's a little kid run past me doing something silly. That's cute. Am I just gonna be like, I don't want to be in this store anyway. They mama too close. Or am I gonna really just be in the space and be like, this kid is so silly? It boosts our attraction meter, y'all. It boosts your abundance meter. Lean into it, lean into it, lean into it, lean into it. All right. So, how do you be in the space of being in the midst of a storm and having life still feel good? You have to know. We talked about this in the self-care workshop, which you all can get access to that free. But just let me know if you're interested in doing that. Someone said, so drained and pissed. Time to shift to happiness with this day. Yeah. Yeah, Dinshay. If we can shift in the moments, the thing about it is we don't want to like beat ourselves up because we may have had that attitude and we may have just been angry. We may have just been pissed. We need to love on ourselves and honor it and say, hell yeah, this is where I am. I'm pissed the freak off. But also at the same time, to be able to say, you know what I need? I need that one thing that I know will bring me joy in this moment. That one thing that'll make me feel good in this moment. I think that was like day 4 of the self-care workshop when we talk about pleasure. Oftentimes we can use pleasure to get us out of those moments. Y'all, we released another episode of My Holistic Life. Go on and listen to it. You're going to be clutching your pearls again, but go on and listen to it because we really, one of the ways is like, are you able to pleasure yourself? Yeah, wine and dance party, honey, feels good. And even if it's just a blip on the radar, even if that wine and that dance party is 5 minutes of your day, 10 minutes of your day of letting the love in, being able to express it, that's part of love intelligence. Being able to feel it, that's part of love intelligence. If you're even letting it in for 5 to 10 minutes, that will give you some relief in the storm. Okay? Relief in the storm. Orgasms for lunch, y'all. Go back and listen to the last 2 episodes of My Holistic Life. Shout out to my partner, Dinshay Lee, my co-host. We've done that. We've created this podcast because we believe happiness should be a lifestyle. And that just spoke so much to just how the lessons that I teach and the work that I do on a daily. And then it stems from how I strive to live my life. And I say strive because yes, I do have those moments. I was just talking to a friend yesterday, my coach yesterday, and I was like, I'm having a moment. I'm going through something, but Within the day, I could still count those moments where, I shook my butt in the mirror, or I count those moments where I had an orgasm for an appetizer before dinner. Like, in that moment, life felt good. Just because you want your life to feel good doesn't mean you ain't about your business. Don't let anyone try to make you feel that way. Don't let anyone make you feel like things need to be pain for you to prove that you deserve it. You don't have to prove nothing to anyone but yourself. And all you got to prove to yourself is that you love yourself. You should set out every day to prove how much you love you. If you were getting into a relationship and someone was, trying to court you and talk to you on the phone, you're going to be wanting them to prove that they're interested. You're going to be wanting them to prove that they like you. So, setting out to prove how much you love you on a daily will definitely usher you into feel good. It will usher you into feel good. There's so much, I've kind of was hesitant about this narrative, and it really got my attention when, and back to the podcast again, we interviewed Tony Jones in the podcast, and she talked about back in the day, and she was doing this before I even got started, like, not having that conversation of rise and grind. And she was like, I'm the only one. Am I a unicorn, basically? Because I'm talking about enjoying and peace. And, I've been saying with my clients, awaken and flow. Like, how are you going to awaken and flow in life? Because having this conversation of it not having to hurt is a different kind of narrative. And not everyone can lean into that. And they might not lean into it like consciously, but they also might not lean into it. And you might even be struggling with leaning into it where it's just not what you've been trained to do. You've been conditioned that it's supposed to hurt, that there's supposed to be pain, that trauma happens in your life and it's supposed to linger. It doesn't have to. You can make that decision. If you set your timer at the top of every 5 minutes every day saying, breathe and say you love you, breathe and find joy in the next 30 seconds. That's like, you know, that's a long time to have some joy throughout the day. So this is what I want you to do. We're midweek. This is happy hump day. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday wind down. Here's to you. It's amazing rosé. I want you to call in love and call in feeling good. It sounds so basic, but it's not. But to be able to say, wake up in the morning and say, I allow the feel good to flow. I allow the feel good to flow. I allow my consciousness to find the feel good in the midst of whatever's going on. Whether it is a memory of someone that makes you laugh, whether it is someone doing something silly that still makes you want to slap them because you're so mad and they're so happy, whatever it is, I'm asking you to usher yourself into allowing the feel good to flow and identify some of those, what do they call it, creature comforts. And Shay said, wine and dance party. If you know wine and dance party is your thing, then do that mess often. If every day this week you got to say, I'm giving myself a glass of wine and a dance party, just give me 15, just give me 15 minutes. Even if you have to say that, go for it. Whatever it is, I'm going to encourage you to do it. I love you. You all have any questions? I'm always saying, y'all got some questions? Some things I want you to do. Here, take notes. This is when you take notes. One, I need you to go listen to My Holistic Life. That's HOE Listic Life on Apple Podcasts and leave a review. I guarantee you're going to love it. We have had women changing their lives. We've been getting the DMs and text messages about people getting, promotions at jobs, asking for what they want, planning vacations, doing life that makes them happy. doing the things in life that make them happy. We've been getting those. So I want you to go listen to that podcast. It's literally life altering, life changing. Also, I have opened up the Love CEO Academy. If you're like, what's the freaking Love CEO Academy? Reach out to me. Let's get on a consult because I believe your life, your happiness, your goals, your dreams are a priority. And if I can build millions of love CEOs all over this world, I'm going to do it one magnificent woman at a time through the Love CEO Academy. So find out what it is. Join us, join the Love CEO Sanctuary. I love y'all. Go out and make it an amazing rest of your week. Bye. Let me get you my graphics so you can see what we doing over here.